Good morning. Please stand as you're willing and able and join us in singing Build a New Way, number 107, and the words will be on the screen. Thank you, Marcy. Our opening words are these. They're entitled, May Your Call Be Awakened by LaGrave. We come to religious community from many paths and with diverse needs. If you have come here looking for answers, may you find new questions. If you have come here seeking purpose, may your call be awakened. If you have come here hoping to build a new way, may the path be open before you. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. I'm Beth Miller, a member of the congregation, serving as worship associate today while our minister, Jay Wolin, is away, and I'm glad to be serving with our guest speaker this morning, Dale Anderson, whom you'll hear a little more about a little later. If you're visiting with us for the first time today, we especially welcome you, whether you are here in person in the sanctuary or watching us on YouTube this morning. If you're here in person and you're a visitor, I hope you stopped at the welcome table on the way in and were greeted by our greeters out there. If not, please stop by after the service and meet them. They are friendly welcomers there to answer any questions you may have about the church. And there's a similar sign-up sheet to the one that you'll find online if you're visiting us online and would like to sign up to receive information about all of our virtual events and the email links, the Zoom links for those. All are invited to join us at whatever activities are going on in this congregation. And we also invite you to join us for refreshments and conversation following the service. Members, please be sure to greet those of people who are new today. They'll be wearing name tags with red borders, so be sure to greet them. Who knows, they may become your next best friend. I have a couple of special announcements today. Just a special reminder that one of our board goals this year is to support democracy. If you haven't registered to vote, please do so by tomorrow, Monday. That's tomorrow, July 20th. I think I'm preaching to the choir about this one. I'm sure you've all registered, but just in case not. And then people will be able to vote on August 18th. Speaking of which, our democracy team, along with SEE Alliance, will be postcarding this Tuesday, day after tomorrow, at 1 p.m. in the Rivera room. That's the room where forum is held. And we invite you to join in. This will be an effort to get out the vote on August 18th for the primary election. So yes, everybody should be registered by tomorrow, but on Tuesday we're going to remind them to go vote. So please come and join them in that effort. And to help you think about that, about the primary coming up, next week's forum will feature 5 of the 7 candidates for the school board. That's at 9:15 in the Reeb room for our regular forum. 5 out of the 7 candidates for school board. That's next week. Therein ends the announcement, and I'd love to welcome Rivera to the chancel to share some beautiful music with us. It's good to have you.
No one knows what it's like to be the madman, to be the sad man, behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be faded, telling only lies. But my dreams, they are as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free. No one knows what it's like to feel these feelings like I do, and I blame you. No one bites back as hard under anger. None of my pain can show through, but my dreams, they are as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free. When my fist clenches, crack it open. Before I use it and lose my cool. When I smile, tell me some bad news. Before I laugh and act like a fool. And if I swallow anything evil, put your finger down my throat. And if I shiver, please give me a blanket. Keep me warm, let me wear your coat. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes.
Yes, indeed. Please join me now in the responsive reading. It will be on the screen, and it's in your order of service if you have one. As we light the chalice, this is a responsive reading, or affirmation. We light, wait a minute. There's an earlier part, the Beth part. You're doing the all part. Go back to, we gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world. Thank you. Thank you. And now, Catherine has left us a story for me to read to you. I give her full credit for picking this because I had no idea what to pick. And she found it, and I'm finding it right now. She's on vacation, but she sends this story. The title is Boy Yogi, and it was written by David Barclay Moore and illustrated by Noah Denman. A while ago, my daddy came home from far away. But he came home different than before he left. Before he left, Daddy used to sleep like a log, and he liked to talk a lot. After he came home, Daddy had nightmares, and he spent a lot of time alone. Before, he was fun to be around. We used to run races in the park. After he came home, he was angry all the time, and he sat in his room. After Daddy came home, I thought he acted sad because of something I did. I thought my daddy didn't love me anymore. Mama said, "Of course your dad loves you, Butterbean. It's just that Daddy got sick overseas. That has nothing to do with you. He needs time to get better." "Where is Daddy sick?" I asked. "In his tummy?" "No," said Mama. "Is it his knee?" I asked. "Last summer I skinned my knee and that hurt a lot." "No," said Mama, "it's not Daddy's knee that hurts him." "Is it his head?" I asked Mama. "Does Daddy's head hurt?" Mama was quiet for a minute and then she smiled at me. "Well, yes, Butterbean, it is his head. When Daddy was away, some bad things happened there, and those things made him sick. We are lucky nothing happened to Daddy's body, but those bad things harmed his mind." I didn't know what she meant. Mama asked me, "Do you know what your mind is?" I shook my head. She touched my forehead. "Your mind is in here. It's the things you think about. It's how you feel happy or sad. It's the songs you like to sing and your favorite colors. Our minds are very precious and we need to take care of them. Your mind is what makes you, you. Daddy's is what makes Daddy, Daddy." I thought I understood then. "Mama," I said. "Yes, baby." When my tummy hurts, you give me peppermint tea and honey to help me feel better. When I skin my knee, you stick a Band-Aid on it. Yes, that's right. How do we make Daddy's head better? Mama thought for a long time. Butterbean, that's what we're trying to figure out, she finally said. The next week, Mama took Daddy and me with her to the YMCA, a few blocks from our apartment. The YMCA was where Mama went to exercise and take dance classes. Daddy didn't want to go, but Mama wouldn't let up until he put on his coat and walked with us. The Y was full of grown-ups working out and sweating. Downstairs in the basement, Mama and Daddy changed clothes and took a class called yoga. I sat on the floor in the corner and watched. As the class began, the instructor pressed his hands together and bowed. Namaste, he said. Namaste is from the old Sanskrit language. It means I bow to the spiritual in you. I ask that you all please enter our space in a calm way. No angry thoughts, speak softly, positive thinking. I want you to move peacefully while you're here. At first I thought yoga was weird, but it looked fun, like stretching, but more cool. Most of the poses they did were standing, balancing, or bending in funny ways. Daddy seemed to like it. He liked it so much he went back to yoga class the next day. This time I tried yoga, and I liked it too. It made me feel like I had superpowers, like I could do anything. That day, our teacher told us a yogi was anybody who did yoga. Week after week, Daddy and I went to our yoga class in the basement of our YMCA, even after Mama stopped going with us. And we both got better. Daddy was good at the tree pose, cow face, and camel pose. My favorite pose was the cobra pose because it made me feel like a snake. Daddy and I were yogis. We walked home after class one day and Daddy told me, Butterbean, you're sure good at your poses. I felt proud. You're a regular little boy yogi, Daddy said. We both laughed at how funny that word sounded. Daddy went on. This yoga helped me feel way better. I'm not as nervous as I was right after I came home from overseas. Not as jumpy and not as sad all the time. My therapist tells me yoga's helped a lot. I feel better too, I said. I used to feel sad because you got sad. Daddy looked at me and grinned, and I grinned back. After that, he raced me home, just like we used to do before. He let me win because he loves me, and I'll always love me. The end. And now, yeah, good story. She gets the best stories, doesn't she? Yeah. I now invite any children and youth to join Ms. Kristen and our guest teacher, Greg Cruz, in the West Wing for some art projects. And now we have Bree back up again.
We are living with a great big dip. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together. Some in power, some in pain. We can worship the ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We are all swimming to the other side. I am alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced at the brink of wisdom. I'm patient to receive a sign. I move forward, my senses open. Imperfections, it might be my crime. In humility I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living neath a great big deep. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship the ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, finding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me, band together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living near the great big deep. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship the ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognize that we've arrived. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living near the great big deep. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship the ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side.
Bravo, yeah.
As we take a few minutes to center ourselves and become fully present in this place with these people at this time, hear these words by the Reverend Karen Johnson entitled "The Sea of Moral Injury," followed by a brief silence, and then we'll sing together, Spirit of Life. We are swimming in this stream together, some in power and some in pain. We're all swimming to the other side. Here I am again, she writes, stopped at a traffic light, a sea of cars surrounding me, a handful of vehicles ahead of me. Stationed at the median strip, someone visibly in need, likely unhoused, walks the line of momentarily stopped cars, cardboard sign in hand, asking for money. I find myself praying, not for their well-being, not for solutions to our broken housing system. Instead, I perversely pray that the light will change before they arrive at my rolled-up window. Perhaps you follow the dictum of the 19th century poet Walt Whitman, give alms to everyone who asks, and this frees you to know when you've done your part. Perhaps because you intentionally support community organizations that provide direct service or address systemic issues, you pass by and experience no unease. Perhaps. Personally, I swim clumsily between these two approaches. I find myself struggling to keep my head above these ethical waters. Because any liberation must be collective liberation, I know it's critically important to keep at the center of our attentions those most directly, most direly impacted. That being true, I have also come to believe that no matter one's privileged status, at this point in late-stage capitalism, with its rot of the social safety net, we are all constantly swimming, in a sea of moral injury. No matter our social location, we regularly witness or fail to prevent harm caused by systems not of our making. This causes us to grapple with not only our place in the shadow sides of the interdependent web of all existence, but also the harm we experience. In response, I sometimes turn away, scroll on and on, numb out. Sometimes I pray for the wrong things. Yet my faith values and principles tell me that there is a different option to turn toward. And when I turn toward that sense of complicity, that pain of moral injury, it becomes a message from the interdependent web of all existence. Harm of one is harm of all. Harm of one is harm of all. When I can position myself to hear this universal and universalist message, I am better able to know which direction to swim. And then the author concludes her reflection with this prayer. Spirit of life and love, may it be true that there is a moral arc of the universe. May it be true that when we come together, centering those most harmed, we can bend it toward justice. May we recognize each other as we swim in these roiling waters of late-stage capitalism, being for each other rafts and bridges and islands of respite till we make it to the further shore, till we make it to the other side. Join me now in silence. Each week, we light the chalice and remind ourselves why we are here. Each week, we take a few moments to center ourselves into this time and place with words, silence, and singing Spirit of Life together. Each week, our spirits are sustained by excellent music and meaningful words that call and recall us to our best selves. In recognition of all that we receive and in gratitude for this community of faith, we receive this morning's offering as our guest pianist, Bruce Unsinger, thank you, Bruce, for being with us, shares his gift of music. Let this sacred time begin. So nice to have you here with us. Our speaker this morning is no stranger to those of us who've been around a while. Dale Anderson, a retired physician, and his wife, Mary Montgomery, have been members here for over 12 years. He is a past president of the Board of Trustees more than once and was instrumental in guiding us through the pandemic. He is active in the UUSRQ Immigration Justice Coalition, a frequent forum presenter, and a whole host of other useful pursuits here and in the larger community. Welcome, Dale.
Good morning. Is this test? Can you hear me okay? Testing.
Hello. Okay. Well then.
Test. Wait, I'm back on here. So, at the time that the worship committee approached me about filling in for Reverend Jay, I was reading books about moral injury, and I thought this would be a good topic for us to discuss this morning. At the time, though, about 2 weeks ago, there was an article in the Herald Tribune that spoke directly to this subject. It was an opinion piece by ex-warden of the Florida State Prison, Ron McAndrews. Some of you may have read it. Here are some excerpts from his opinion piece. He writes, "Recently, Florida carried out the execution of Dusty Spencer, a 74-year-old Marine, for the murder of his wife, Karen, in 1992. It was the 9th Florida execution of the year. For their own sake, I urge Florida correction workers to refuse to carry out another one. Before you dismiss me as some lefty," Mr. McAndrews writes, "you should know that I am an Air Force veteran. I voted for Ron DeSantis twice and for Donald Trump 3 times. But what's important is that I have intimate knowledge of what these executions are doing to the people whose job it is to carry them out. As someone who supervised executions in Florida, I am urging prison officials to refuse to participate in any further intentional taking of someone's life. The memories of the men whose lives I helped take still haunt me today. I deeply regret my participation in the executions. The pace of executions in Florida has become unrelenting, and that's why I'm deeply concerned about the lifelong trauma we are asking state workers to take on. Numerous correction officers in Florida and other states have tried to
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focused on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle turns a hole, the old familiar stain. Try to know goes away in the end, and you could have it all. My own part of that, I will let you down. I will make you hurt. I wear this crown of thorns upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts I cannot repair. Beneath the stains of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else. I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end, and you could have it all. My own part of that, I will let you down. I will make you hurt. If I could start again, a million miles away, I would keep myself. I would find a way.
So several months ago, when I was scrolling through Instagram, I came across a short video by Dr. Brianna Migliore. The title caught my attention. It was entitled, "Why This Political Moment is Breaking Our Hearts." She suggested that many Americans are experiencing a particular type of grief, not simple sadness, not ordinary stress, but something deeper. She says it's the grief we feel when we watch our current leaders give people permission to be the most cruel, unfiltered, and dehumanizing versions of themselves, and watching as people we know embrace it. The term she used was moral injury, which is the feeling we get when our core values are betrayed by people and institutions we once trusted. Studies show that moral injury is a form of profound psychological stress that can activate the body's stress system. And when moral injury isn't resolved, the stress response can put our bodies into a state of high alert, which she referred to as dysregulation, kind of a scrambling of your brain. If prolonged, this condition of dysregulation can have a negative impact on your overall health. I wonder, are we as a nation suffering from collective moral injury? Is it affecting all of us and impacting our lives on a daily basis? As I began to read the psychological and neuroscience literature about moral injury, I discovered that researchers have spent more than 30 years trying to understand what happens when human beings are repeatedly exposed to experiences that violate their deepest sense of right and wrong. The modern understanding of moral injury began with clinicians and researchers trying to understand the devastating psychological impact on combat veterans returning from Vietnam. What emerged was the condition termed post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, a mental health condition triggered by experiencing or witnessing a terrifying, life-threatening, or deeply traumatic event or ongoing events. It's characterized by persistent, debilitating symptoms, including intrusive memories, flashbacks, nightmares, avoidance of trauma reminders, negative mood changes, and heightened reactivity. PTSD was recognized as a mental health condition in 1980 by the American Psychiatric Association, and a whole variety of treatment protocols were developed and adopted. But when psychiatrists began listening more carefully to veterans, many heard something more. Again and again, veterans spoke not first about fear or fright, but about guilt. Many spoke about shame. They spoke about betrayal. They spoke about decisions they wished they hadn't made. They spoke about leaders they no longer trusted. Their deepest wounds were not wounds of terror or fright, but wounds of conscience. Psychiatrist Jonathan Shea, working with the Veterans Clinic in Boston, was one of the first to recognize that these experiences could not be fully explained by PTSD alone. He introduced the concept of moral injury in a book he wrote in 1994 entitled Achilles in Vietnam. Unlike post-traumatic stress disorder, where fear is often the dominant emotion, moral injury is characterized primarily by guilt, shame, and grief. People with the condition may withdraw from relationships, lose trust in leaders or institutions, struggle to sleep, find it difficult to concentrate, or feel numb, emotionally numb. They may question their own identity, their faith, or their purpose. Some become very depressed. Others turn to alcohol or other substances in an attempt to quiet the relentless voice of their conscience. Later, psychologist Brett Litz broadened the concept, recognizing that moral injury could occur not only in soldiers, but also among physicians, police officers, correction officers, humanitarian workers, clergy, and others whose lives regularly place them in a situation of profound moral conflict. There's a rich literature about moral dilemmas and moral injuries experienced by medical staff, particularly nursing during the COVID-19 pandemic. Brett Litz defines moral injury as the lasting emotional, psychological, social, and spiritual damage caused by doing, failing to prevent, or witnessing acts that break your deepest moral beliefs. It's a deep wound of conscience. While the American Psychiatric Association recognized PTSD in 1980, today the association has been considering whether to include moral injury and its psychological effects as a unique diagnosis. In 2025, after extensive deliberation and debate, the American Psychiatric Association chose to list moral injury as a potential contributing factor for consideration by clinicians, but declined to make it a mental health diagnosis. They intentionally stopped short of calling it a mental illness. I find that decision deeply encouraging because it suggests something very profound. Not every form of suffering reflects something wrong with the person who is suffering. Sometimes suffering reflects something wrong in the world. One commentator summarized the APA's decision this way: we should not pathologize healthy moral awareness. It reminds us that there are moments when grief is appropriate, outrage is appropriate, when tears are appropriate, when conscience is doing exactly what it was created to do. Perhaps after all, our moral alarm system is working. One of the most important distinctions researchers make is between two of the fundamental symptoms of moral injury: guilt and shame. Guilt says, I did something wrong. Shame says there's something wrong with me. Researchers are now able to see difference between guilt and shame in the living brain. Functional MRI studies, this is quite amazing, suggest that while the two emotions share some common pathways, they also activate different regions associated with self-reflection, emotional regulation, and social understanding. In other words, these experiences of guilt and shame are not merely philosophical or theological ideas, they are embodied in us. Our brains, our emotions, and our relationships all participate in how we experience moral pain. But long before neuroscience existed, however, religious traditions understood that something important about addressing guilt and shame. They developed confession, lamentation, forgiveness, truth-telling, repentance, atonement, not because people were mentally ill, but because human beings have always needed ways to live with a troubled conscience. 3,000 years of spiritual wisdom and 30 years of psychological research seem to have arrived at the same conclusion. When our deepest moral values are violated, something within us needs attention. Healthy guilt can lead us towards confession, reconciliation, and repair. Shame, on the other hand, often leads us into hiding. It tells us we are beyond forgiveness. It isolates us from others. It convinces us that we are unworthy of compassion. Today, we can see the evidence of moral injury all around us. A January 2026 Reuters report described the growing mental health crisis among Israeli soldiers in the Mideast. Since the attacks of October 7th and the ensuing war, military psychologists have reported dramatic increases in psychological distress. While many soldiers certainly experience post-traumatic stress disorder, clinicians are also describing increasing numbers who struggle with something different. They describe civilian deaths, destroyed neighborhoods, impossible moral choices, and actions they believe violated their moral standards. Many report guilt, shame, emotional numbness, and loss of trust in themselves and their institutions. But there's a further dimension of moral injury to discuss this morning. Until recently, psychologists thought primarily about moral injury as something experienced by people who directly participated in the troubling event, soldiers, police officers, etc. But researchers gradually recognized something else. Moral injury is not limited to those who commit morally untenable actions. Sometimes it reaches those who simply witness them again and again, people who are wounded by what they witness from afar. They may experience what is termed vicarious moral injury. In some ways, vicarious moral injury is to moral injury what secondhand smoke is to smoking. You don't have to be the one smoking the cigarette to be harmed by the proximity to the smoker. Likewise, you don't have to be the one carrying out a harmful act for such an act to harm those around. Actions that leave a psychological and spiritual residue affecting others. Over time, witnessing human suffering, especially suffering that we believe could have been prevented, can slowly wound our own conscience. Researchers studying humanitarian workers have documented this phenomena among people responding to refugee crises, human trafficking, genocide, famine, and detention camps. The same pattern has been described among immigration attorneys and advocates working with asylum seekers. These professionals spend their days listening to stories of persecution, violence, torture, family separation. Many of the events that trouble us are not occurring in distant places entirely disconnected from us. Sometimes they're carried out by our own institutions. Sometimes they are funded by our tax dollars. Sometimes they occur under the authority of a government elected in our name. Sometimes they involve communities of which we are part. And we see harm being done in our name. We witness wars unfolding in real time. We watch apartment buildings collapse under bombardment. We see frightened children carried away from rubble. We watch families separated by immigration enforcement. We witness racial hatred, political violence, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia. We hear language that strips away the dignity of entire groups of human beings. That realization can produce another layer of moral pain, not personal guilt, something closer to what psychologists at times have referred to as collective moral pain or moral injury. We may experience guilt and shame over time that our society is perpetuating, that tramples our values and moral codes. It leads us to question, what does it mean to belong to a society capable of doing this? What responsibility do we bear? How do I remain faithful to my values when I feel powerless to change what I see? In his book, Moral Injury, Air Force psychologist Michael Valdovinos states in his closing chapter, "The epidemic of moral injury that we face today is spread by institutions that have prioritized power over ethics, by workplaces routinely forcing their employees to compromise their values, by communities where racism, sexism, economic inequality have always been baked into the rules." These are not political questions. These are not moral questions. These are questions of conscience. If any of this sounds familiar to you, if you've found yourself carrying grief that seems larger than your own life, if you've found yourself increasingly anxious, discouraged, angry, or heartsick over events happening in our nation and around the globe, events you cannot control, perhaps your conscience is doing exactly what it was created to do. A moral alarm system is working. So what do we do? One temptation is to simply stop paying attention, turn off the television, quit scrolling, avoid the news, do like Mary and I do and watch 7 seasons of The Closer. But I do not think withdrawal is the answer. The answer is not to care less, it's to care wisely. Modern neuroscience confirms something that religious communities have known for centuries. We can help regulate each other when we become dysregulated. A frightened child is calmed by a loving parent. A grieving friend is comforted simply by someone willing to sit beside them. Hope grows when it is shared. Perhaps our consciences are also sustained in that manner. When we carry grief, anger, and helplessness alone, our thoughts begin to spiral. We lose perspective. Cynicism replaces hope, and isolation feeds despair. But the good news is that a compassionate relationship with a community can interrupt that cycle. They can remind us that our humanity has not disappeared. They can help us remember that pain we feel is not a sign of weakness. It's often a sign that our conscience is still alive. So perhaps the question is not, how do I stop this feeling? Perhaps it's, how do I remain faithful to my conscience while allowing it not to overwhelm me? Dr. Miglior's advice is to set boundaries, limiting interaction with harmful and troubling images and information. But more importantly, she advises finding your people. Find people who soften you rather than harden you, who hold your grief without feeding your despair, who still believe empathy is stronger than indifference and compassion stronger than fear. They remind us that goodness still exists. We cannot individually carry the world's moral pain. Perhaps that is one of the fundamental reasons congregations exist, not because they solve every problem or agree about every issue, but because they become places where conscience can breathe, grief can be spoken, hope can be renewed, and compassion can be strengthened. Perhaps that is why we build communities like this one. My hope is that this congregation can always be a community where compassion is practiced, truth can be spoken, grief shared, hope renewed, and where we can encourage one another to continue the long work of justice without surrendering either our humanity or our joy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. That was inspiring. Please stand as you're willing and able and join us in singing number, what is it?
18.
18. What wondrous love is this? What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, that brings my heart to change, to taste the way of my soul, of my soul. Takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down, beneath my sorrow's crown, friends turning gathered round. Oh my soul, oh my soul. Friends turning gathered round. Oh my soul. To love and to all friends, I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends, I will sing. To love and to all friends, through pain and sorrow met, with thanks and to the end, I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end, I will sing. You may remain standing for the closing words. Whether or not the theology expressed here by St. Francis's prayer is yours or not, his moral message of extending compassion is very much what we are all about. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is sadness, joy. Where there is darkness, light. O Divine One, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, not so much to be understood as to understand, not so much to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving that we receive, and it is in the pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in the dying that we are born again to eternal life. As we extinguish the flame, we extinguish this flame, but not by light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go forth, have a wonderful day, love one another, be well.